Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Right, front pages. One story dominating, I suppose. It comes from this paper, The Guardian. More on the Panama Papers leak. It leads with the revelations surrounding David Cameron's family. That's the Metro's top story too. It says the Prime Minister has remained silent over claims that an investment fund set up by his late father has never paid a penny of tax. The Daily Mail says the documents revealed that Ian Cameron's company, Blairmore Holdings, avoided UK tax by hiring Bahamas residents. Mr Cameron says his family's tax affairs are a private matter, and Downing Street would not say whether the PM's family still had a stake in the fund. That is the lead for The Times. Well, the Daily Mirror also leads with the Cameron family link and insists the PM's family tax affairs are not a private matter. Wish you were hiding your money here is the Eyes headline. It says half of the companies exposed in the leak are based in the British Virgin Islands. In other news tonight, the Financial Times reports on the poor performance of investment funds in the United States after a turbulent first quarter. A new poll on the EU referendum suggests the Remain campaign is gaining ground. That's according to the Daily Telegraph. A handful of walnuts a day could stave off heart disease. That's the lead for The Express. The New Day has a story about self-harming among children. It says new figures reveal the numbers of those affected have soared in recent years. While The Sun claims Cheryl Cole has quit reality TV show The X Factor to focus on her pop career. And The Star leads with the threats made against footballer Jamie Vardy's one-year-old daughter on social media. So let's get the thoughts then of Andrew Pearce and Kevin Maguire. Maybe that note will be revealed. To your paper, though, straight away. And the question is
2 pints of milk and a tub of cream, I think it says.
It's to remind myself to feed the cats.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, dear. You really... Anyway, meow.
It's nice that your mind is on the job, but...
that was a joke.
Yeah. OK, so Cameron dragged into tax haven storm. Yes, explain all.
He has, because, of course, in the Panama Papers, this great release of the files from the dodgy company, his father's firm is in there, which was running for 30 years. Blairmore Holdings, named after the ancestral home in Scotland. It was registered in Panama. They would meet in the Bahamas. He was running it. Now, the questions being put to the Prime Minister are, does your family still receive money from it? Was it anyway contributing to the £300,000 tax-free inheritance you got when he died? Did you know anything about it? And at the moment, the Prime Minister's official spokeswoman is just stonewalling, saying it's a private matter. It's not a private matter when you're the Prime Minister who has said you're going to clamp down on tax avoidance and evasion and use of tax havens, and it seems your family is rather intimately involved in this practice, which many ordinary taxpayers find wholly dubious.
I entirely agree. The Prime Minister is First Lord of the Treasury. That's one of his many titles. And his job is he cajoles and encourages and says we've got to pay ever more tax, and we're paying ever more tax in this country. And it seems his father was running a very curious arrangement. The particular share certificate scheme he was running is now illegal in the United Kingdom. And for 30 years, this company paid no tax in Britain, and it made a lot of money for its clients. Yeah. So the question is, did the Prime Minister benefit from that?
I think Cameron's actually outlawed that type of share. They were bearer shares, so the only real proof of your involvement in a company was the name on the share.
Yeah.
So it wasn't registered elsewhere. So, of course, that secrecy can allow criminality, people to hide, not declare their money, the taxman doesn't know, launder it, get up to all sorts of...
No suggestion of illegality at all?
No, certainly not.
But while even if this is legal, it smells immoral, and it's got a terrible whiff about it. And also, a lot of this is British Virgin Islands territory. But what I scribbled down was there are 113,000 shell companies from the British Virgin Islands registered with that law firm. 113,000. It was a fantastic gravy train that's been horribly exposed. And of course, Cameron's father's company is still running.
These are British overseas territories. These are
great picture, by the way.
Colonies. and we should shut down the tax haven avoidance industry. And we can have direct control over the British territories, and you will push, or we should push, for elsewhere to go as well.
Maguire knows, and I know, we've been to endless press conferences when Gordon Brown was Chancellor, when Alistair Darling was Chancellor, George Osborne, probably when John Major was Chancellor. They were all going to get tough on tax avoidance, tax evasion. It gives them a good, easy headline. It's a great hit in the papers and on the radio and TV, and nothing happened.
You know what happened? I remember when Gordon Brown was attempting to crack down with WPP, Vodafone, a few other companies, and he was getting a lot of stick at the time. I think the public mood has changed. Your own paper has changed. I think your own paper has done some very good stuff now, exposing this. It's not just a left issue now; it's a right issue, because all your middle class, middle England readers,
our readers of the Daily Mail are paying ever more tax. A lot of it going on wasteful projects, and then they see that the Prime Minister's father was involved. International aid.
That right-left split is exemplified by your own papers. There is the Daily Mail, Cameron dragged into tax haven storm, and then your paper, Kevin, the Mirror.
Now that's a great headline, because that cuts straight to the quick about the questions the Prime Minister has to answer. Did he benefit? It isn't a private matter. This is the Bahamas, isn't it? Can I just tell you, I've stayed in that hotel, the most hideous hotel in the world. It's called what's that underwater...
Atlantis.
It's about 4,000 rooms. There was about 4,000 rooms, and I said to some member of staff, could you show me the quiet bar, please? You're in it. It was like being in a football stadium, full of fat Americans.
Have you gone over to see your companies and count your money?
I was on my way back from where all your lot hang out, Cuba, where I met Fidel Castro's brother, by the way. Name drop.
Oh, really?
The travel report with Andrew Chris every Monday night.
I think every bloke of a certain age with a beard in Cuba pretends they're Fidel Castro's brother to get a free drink from a mug.
I'll tell you who else was there, that Cuban boxer who won a gold medal.
Yeah, really. Was Lord Lucan there as well, and riding a unicorn, looking at Shergar.
But David Cameron is hosting a summit, isn't he, next month, about transparency.
And while showing no transparency
by the time of that summit, he will have moved.
Well,
he will have moved.
He won't be able to resist the pressure.
It's Easter time. He's probably still away.
And in terms of the tax havens, obviously, you've got places like Switzerland, the BVI, and all of the ones, Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and so on. But also you've got Jersey and Guernsey as well, Isle of Man. It employs people, doesn't it? Shouldn't we support it? And actually, I think Tony Baldry, the former Tory minister, in The Guardian tonight, was saying, I had business in Kazakhstan, the US and the UK. Wherever we base that, it would be offshore for one element of that.
That was the old argument used when they say let kids go up chimneys.
They're draining money away from the exchequer.
They're weakening the British economy. And every pound, the filthy rich...
He always calls them filthy. Why are they filthy?
It's not illegal to be rich.
And they're not filthy, because they can afford soap water, mate.
Actually, the Peter Mandelson quote was he was intensely relaxed about keeping filthy rich as long as they paid their taxes.
Which, of course, he is.
That was all... He probably is now. I hope he's paying his taxes as well.
Filthy rich as Tony Blair.
The taxes bit was always left out. Now, this is aggressively not paying your taxes if you're using companies in these havens. And also, they get up to all sorts of terrible tricks whereby you put your money in, then you get a loan out, which you're never going to repay, but you say it's a loan, so you don't have to pay tax on it. Remember the Alan Carr... the comedian...
it wasn't Alan Carr, was it?
Who was it? It wasn't Alan Carr, apologies. It was...
Steady, get it right, get a writ.
It was
somebody Carr.
You remember, the comedian.
I saw him on the tube the other day. It was quite surprising.
On the tube?
I think he'd be in a chauffeur-driven car, wouldn't you? Yeah. He'd be in a chauffeur-driven car.
Anyway, not him.
Thingy Carr. I can't remember his name. I'm sure his career didn't crash.
Jimmy. It was Jimmy someone.
Oh, God, no, we're naming all these people.
How many people can we defame in one go?
How many people can you defame, Maguire?
Let's just apologise to all
comedians. There's no collective guilt here. You're doing the defaming.
But you're right. You've got the right. You've got the right one. Anyway, but they bleed out tax that should be paid here, and if they're not paying it, because you've got to run public services, health, education, or pay the national debt.
It's fascinating when they go through
other
these
people
files,
have to pay.
How many wretched Premier League footballers who are already vastly overpaid will be out there too.
Anyway, it certainly wasn't Alan Carr.
Right.
Just want that absolutely.
Apologies to everybody.
Absolutely. Too thin.
Should we move on to safer ground?